So we're just getting ready to go on for our first panel ever. There actually are people in the audience, and we're going to show you guys on our YouTube channel the entire unedited version of our panel.
Live and uncensored. Collector's Confessions.
Hopefully it goes
Watch
well.
the panel now.
Thank you. Our Collector's Confessions, and how we ended up here is our first panel ever that we sat in those seats was for Paul Brown, who had a show, who's now running this convention, and he asked us to come here and do our first panel at his show. So how did we actually get here? We have been doing a channel for about 2 years. We had a podcast prior to that. Nobody listened to our podcast at all. Like 5 family members.
Yeah.
And so
But it was a good one.
It was a good one.
It was a good podcast.
It was.
Yeah.
So we decided to do a channel on comic books and collectibles, and here we are 2 years later. We're almost at 4,000 subscribers. We were hoping to get more here. And
We got some.
we got some. We did. Yeah. So what we're talking about today is we're talking about, if you're interested, on how to create your own YouTube channel as a collector, because it is a labor of love, as you can see from our video up there. We spend a lot of our free time working on our videos and building our channel name and our thing. And we didn't introduce ourselves. This is
I'm Brian.
I'm Chad. And
I'm Cassidy. I only make guest appearances.
go ahead.
And well, the subject of all this was supposed to be, if you're interested in doing a YouTube channel, how do you do it? How do you get started? And well, like I said, we started as a podcast, and if you watch some of our videos, it still kind of has a little bit of the podcast DNA, because most YouTube channels, especially comic channels, are one person. There's 2 of us, so there's a little more of a back and forth, which I think adds to what we do.
I agree.
Yeah. And we've been into comics for so long that we have
Almost 50 years.
nearly 50 years for each of us, right? So we have a whole lot of experience just being around it, learning about it, and all that other stuff. So we're lucky that we get to sort of share this expertise with people, and that, there are nearly 4,000 people.
Are you calling us experts?
I would say that we're still on the amateur side of expert, but we're close. We're close.
I would say we're professional.
Professionals, okay. Yeah.
So, okay.
You are. I pride myself in not being.
Okay. So I would like you to handle the rest of the presentation and discuss how you go about making a YouTube channel on a weekly basis.
No, you do that. That's you.
See, this is the back and forth. That's the YouTube channel.
Okay. So, does anyone out there have a YouTube channel? You do.
Okay.
How long have you been doing YouTube channel?
Over 10 years.
Over 10. How many subscribers do you have?
28,000.
What?
28,000? You should be up here.
They're done. And what is it about?
It's about Valheim.
Okay. So very similar to what we do. It's about a passion that you have and how you took that passion and turned it into something that occupies every ounce of your mind outside of your free time. We get it. So
now he's
you didn't expect that, right? Yeah.
Well, then, as some of you know,
I mean, you guys still are on the short side of.
Yes, we're only 2 years into our journey.
mm-hmm.
And we spend a lot of our free time at conventions and at comic book stores, and we're trying to build our brand right now. So one of the things that we found out that a lot of people tell us is that you're focused on dolls. We're spread out.
We're kind of scattered.
We focus on everything collectible, which is, if you want a YouTube channel, don't do that. The algorithm does not like us because we don't focus primarily on comic books. We do so many other things that it doesn't know what to do with us. So it really takes us being out there and meeting people and promoting and doing the best we can to get people to watch us, to actually have people subscribe.
Mm-hmm. And when he says that we're all over the place, we're mostly focused on comics, but we do a combination of different types of things. So, for example, we'll do a whole video from days like today.
Like that.
Like what you're seeing up there was, this was Chad and That trip to Hawaii. He went to Hawaii and visited a comic book store on the Big Island. And that's the whole video from that. And so we do some haul videos, but I'm primarily interested in the historical side of comics. So I like to write about that and I like to do videos on that. And sometimes I like to dip into the toy stuff, which kind of throws us off because YouTube really likes it if you are very focused. That's really how the algorithm works best. So if we just did whole videos, we would probably do better. Or if we just did history,
Yes.
we'd probably do better. But we're interested in so many different facets of the comic book industry that we thought what the hell with the algorithm. We're just going to do what we like.
We just wanted to have fun at what we do. We didn't really intend to make money on this. We happen to be making money now, but we just wanted to have fun. So we just did my idea when we started the channel was I wanted to make a comic convention on YouTube. So we do our hauls, we do conventions, we walk around.
Yeah.
We do a lot of interviews with creators, and we've had some absolutely fantastic creators on over the last 2 years. And every time that they say yes to us, I completely shocked that they want to talk to these two old guys on YouTube.
Yeah, no, we've spoken to a lot of writers.
Yes.
Writers are good interviews. We've spoken to Dan Waters, we spoke to Mike Allred, we've spoken to Howard Chaykin. We've had interviews with
Al Milgrom.
Al Milgrom. He was our first.
Yep.
Al Milgrom was our first interview, and he was great because I asked him one question and he spoke for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Like one single question. I was just like, is it true that you lived with Walt Simonson at one time? And then 25 minutes later, I was like, thanks for your time. Like, he was amazing.
That was literally one question.
Yeah. Yeah. He went, so I don't know if you guys know Walt and Louis Simonson, but I met them a long time ago, and I never stopped telling people that they are the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. Like, they're so nice that I thought they were making fun of me. Like, that's how kind they were. And
Making fun of you is my job.
yeah, that's your job. But Al Milgrom actually claimed in that interview that he actually introduced them to each other. And he's like, oh yeah, I set them up on their first date. And I was like, next time I see Walt Simonson, I got to ask him if that's true, because I don't know.
And you have asked many other people since then about that.
Yeah, I have, but no one's been able to really verify it. Yeah, I think Al Milgrom knows what stories to tell.
Getting anything?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm always the guest on the show, even though I do contribute. I've had people tell me that they love me on the show, so maybe I should become more of a figure. But
maybe you have to be more
I would
of a member.
say that for YouTube, it definitely is very helpful, as Brian said before, to have more people giving their opinions, because all three of us, when we're in a video together, we all have our different niches and what we like. I'm way more into Star Wars than anything else on the channel. I also talk a lot more about fandoms in general. I'm a big fandom girl, whereas you guys are almost purely comics all the time.
And very different comics. So I only collect the big two, DC and Marvel, and it's been an obsession for a long time. And Brian collects.
Yeah, like when I was a teenager, I started sliding more into independence and horror comics and stuff like that. So that's primarily where I end up focusing things. But I am still really interested in sort of the lives and history of mainstream comic creators like Jack Kirby or Siegel and Schuster and people like that. I just find the stories of the comic industry really, really fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of our favorite parts is doing this is that the people that we meet, we've met so many really, really cool people.
Great people. Yeah.
We here today that's AJ over there right there. Mm-hmm. He's running the show.
Yeah.
And the first convention that we ever had a table at, AJ was next to us, and our relationship has grown that we're here with him now at his convention. So it's funny. And we are going to visit the store over there. Mutation Comics.
Yeah. Yep.
We're going to go visit his store in a couple of weeks. We like to build a community. We like to make friends with people who like the same things that we do.
It just dawned on me that maybe that's our focus.
Right.
Our focus is just the comic community in general.
So that's our focus of our channel.
Yeah. Just exposing many different sides of the comic book community.
So basically, in the middle of our first panel,
I just figured it out. I got it. I got our marketing.
You understand?
I got our marketing plan done.
Nice job. Probably not the best time to do it, but hey, all right. You want to solve any other problems that we have right now?
No, but is there anyone interested in starting a channel who doesn't have one? You are. Okay. And do you know what you want to do it about? Say it again. Art. So is it comic art? No, just art in general.
So have you started a channel yet?
I don't know.
Okay. The first step, my advice, the first step is look for people who are doing what you want to do, see what they're doing, see what you like and what you don't like about what they do. Because there's so many people on YouTube that you will see the very, very best and you will see the very, very worst within your category. And it'll be your decision about what you like and what you don't like. But that's really the first place to start, is with sort of a tremendous amount of research to go into it. I can't tell you how many comic book channels I've watched over and over and over again, trying to find like who's doing it right, who doesn't, what do I like about what they're doing, and not what you think is really, really good may not be necessarily what other people think is good, but that doesn't really matter. You're making your channel, and the point of entry is so easy now for these kinds of things that like
You need your phone. That's it. So
you can start with
your phone and that's
and
it.
you're good to go. You download a decent editing program, even something like CapCut, if they still exist.
They do. That's what we use.
And that's it. But who knows how long?
I know, but
They're owned by TikTok, so we're not sure
Right
how
now,
long they're
that's what
going to
we
last.
use.
But
So from my advice, from like Brian will tell you that part where how he built. From my advice, I do all the technical stuff. So if you're really planning on starting a YouTube channel, what you should do is before you actually post a video, open your channel 3 months earlier and only watch videos about what you want your channel to be. And then the algorithm will know where you're going to go. And then once you start posting videos, they already know your audience. Even though you haven't posted a video yet, they know what you like. They're going to start pushing it out. And the key to all of this, I'll give you this advice and I'll give you even better advice afterwards. The key to all this is the algorithm. It's to get the algorithm to like you is what helps you to get out there. And if you don't get the algorithm to like you, it's an uphill battle.
But also know this: understanding the algorithm is trying to understand some kind of alien intelligence
he
that
tries to
I don't-
is
decode the
not
algorithm.
human.
It
It
does not
doesn't
work.
think like us. It doesn't work like us. Trying to understand the algorithm is sometimes kind of a lost cause, but you try to at least get yourself in the space where other channels are first. Then do your tons of research. And then my other thing is think about every video, no matter what you're focusing on, as telling a story. Because look at everybody here. Everybody is here because they love stories. That's primarily what comics are all about, really, is stories presented in a visual medium. People love stories. People are hardwired for stories. So if you turn whatever video you're doing into some sort of narrative, if somebody's watching it and the way you've planned it out or written it, however you decide to write it, as long as it has some kind of structure that people realize it is going somewhere, they will stick with it. And YouTube, how long do you have to watch a video for YouTube to count it as like viewed?
Viewed is 30 seconds.
30 seconds. So you got to get people to stick with you for at least 30 seconds.
And that's the hardest part. The first 30 seconds is the hardest part of a video to get done because people are tuning out after 30 seconds.
Yeah. So you have to sort of open up with it something attention grabbing and then give the viewer a sense that they are following a narrative in some way. It doesn't really matter if it's a strong story or whatever, that there is something there. It's going somewhere. And then they will stay with you to the end.
And one of the hardest things too is to get the name of your channel. The name has to really reflect who you are. And then when you start making videos, your titles and thumbnails, I don't sleep at night. and I rewrite them in my head constantly. When I'm just not thinking, I start rewriting them, and I will give you the advice that I didn't take. And I would say, if you guys are doing, you would agree, do not invite your family and friends to subscribe to your channel.
Yes. Because they will,
but they will not watch your videos.
They might not watch your videos.
They will not watch your videos.
And YouTube doesn't like a discrepancy between subscriptions and views. That actually hurts you. So if you have way more subscriptions than you're getting views, it's not necessarily a good thing. So like your friends will be like,
subscribe if they're going to watch your video.
Right. Your friends will be like, oh yeah, no, I'll subscribe because it doesn't take them any effort. But then they may not really be interested in what you're doing, which
They're probably not.
doesn't make them bad friends or anything. They're just not into it. Like, I don't think my wife has watched one of our videos. I don't think she's watched one. And her excuse is always, I listen to you all the time. So, that's fair.
And my wife does watch the videos when I yell at her and say, have you watched my video? I said that in the video.
But also, I would say just to start a channel, just start shooting, just start recording what you really want.
Yeah,
And
don't don't wait. Like, what? Why are you waiting now? Don't wait.
Yeah, like
Just
don't
go.
overthink it, because when you start, you're maybe not going to see those views, and you're gonna like
No, you're not. You're definitely
you're not going to see those views, so you're going to start out really really low.
Yeah.
But you just need the consistency of posting every week, and once you start getting consistent with it, then the algorithm will really start pushing you out. So it will be a long to really start a channel. I mean, how long did it take for you to start really getting views?
It took us probably like six months or so to really start getting people to watch. And it's crushing because you're posting every day and you're working on it every day and you're really putting your blood and sweat and tears into it, and then you get 5 people watch the video. And what Brian's saying is exactly what it is. We did not have this idea when we first started. Our idea was to do longs, and we'd do an occasional short, and it was fun to do one. We do 1 or 2 a week. And then we met somebody, and here's another point. If you're starting your channel, you're going to be tempted to go on YouTube and watch all the videos that help you to build your channel, how you can get 1,000 subscribers, how you can get your 4,000 views. This is the key. They only want you to watch their videos. They do not care about your channel.
Their advice is usually not very good.
Most of the time, not very good.
The best way to do it.
I'm not going to explain that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There you go. Thanks. The best way to do it is to ask someone in your field. So if there's someone else who's doing what you're doing, someone else who likes the same things you do that. And what we did is we were at a comic book store, and we ran into a guy, and the guy, his name of his channel is Dan Exclaimed, and he's purely shorts, and he does short videos. Do you know the channel? So Dan Exclaims has 450,000 subscribers, and Dan Exclaims gets 1.3 million views on each of his videos,
And he only does shorts.
and he retired from his job and is supporting his family on the money he makes on YouTube, and he's 30 years old.
But he puts out between 12 and 15 shorts a day.
5 shorts. 5
No, he told me some days he had 12 out.
5 shorts a day.
Oh, okay. Well,
We're very different. If you have,
I remember him saying some high number, and I was like, "What? That's crazy."
you wouldn't recognize you sitting right there. So
I would, maybe.
so really take people who, even if it's not what you're doing, similar things. Reach out to them. Most of the people who do the collectible stuff, we're usually very friendly. They're very, willing to chat about the best practices.
Well, yeah, that's something I was going to go to before. Is like
That's why we're up here.
we have this idea that I think people get this idea in their head that you're competing with other YouTubers, and in a sense, you kind of are, but it really should be looked at more as a collaboration, because there are so many people out there that the chances of you appealing to the same audience as somebody else is very, very slim. And so you don't look at it. We don't
It's
look
not
at
competition.
it. We don't look at it as competitions. We look at it as collaborations. If we can learn from other people, that's what we do. And,
Absolutely.
you learn from others. You learn by doing. You just start and go and see what happens. And by the way you envision your channel when you begin is going to be very different than the way your channel looks to you a year after you start. Because you're going to be like, oh, wait a minute. No, this isn't what I thought at all. And it becomes something very, very different.
I mean, you guys probably change your channel tons of times as you go over the years.
Yeah.
You see what people like, and you see what you like doing, and you change it from there.
Do we have what time is it?
We have 20 minutes.
20 minutes left? Okay. Do we have any questions or anything? Does anybody have any questions about anything that we do or anything at all? Creators that we talk to, or do we want to tell the Howard Chaykin story?
We can't tell the Howard Chaykin story because there's children's ears within earshot of our. So if you're a comic book person, you know who Howard Chaykin is. Howard Chaykin is a well-known writer, artist. He wrote some very comics that shaped the industry.
Yes, yeah. His American Flag in the 80s is a big deal for a lot of people.
And he was big in the 70s and early 80s. And when he agreed to be on our show, we were in complete
blown away.
shock that he would be on our show.
We knew his reputation.
It wasn't good.
He's a very prickly guy.
He's a
And I think the lesson,
old man.
The lesson here is to not get flustered.
Not get flustered.
So he comes on, and
He's a grumpy old man.
before we start recording the show,
Don't say it.
I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. before we start recording, he's on the screen. He looks at us over Zoom and he says,
So wait. He agrees to be on the show with us. We email him. Yes, I'd love to be on your show. Sounds great. Watch some videos. You guys look great. We'd love to talk with you. That would be fantastic.
so he comes on, he takes one look at us and he says, "Who the bleep are you guys? And why am I on your bleeping show?" And I thought right away,
Where do we go from there?
do I just hit disconnect? Like, do I just reach forward? No.
What do you do when the person you're interviewing starts with that?
Starts with that. And we were like, well, here's what we do. And he's like, oh, am I going to be stuck talking about stuff you loved when you were 11? I don't want to talk about that. And just looked very, very like aggressive and so super like scary.
Very aggressive.
But we started talking to him and he made a reference to an old science fiction magazine that used to get published in the 1930s called Amazing Stories, or I think it was Amazing Stories, right? And I said, oh, the one by Hugo Gernsback. And he was like, oh. And it's kind of like we knew what we were talking about.
Right.
And then Chad was talking about how we are based on Staten Island. It turns out Howard Chaykin's grandparents were on Staten Island and he had a wonderful childhood memories
on Staten Island.
And so he became very warm, very welcoming, very nice after that. And we've seen him a couple of times in person and we're like, hey, and he's like, hey, he's like so sweet, so nice all of a sudden. So I think the idea is like, just don't get flustered by people like that. Don't get caught up in sort of like anybody's negativity. Just sort of keep going with what you want to do and try to stay as positive as you can through it all.
Even not be nice on your channel on occasion.
Yeah. And most of the time we don't even respond to those.
Oh, we delete those. There's an easy delete button. So
Yeah.
Yep. You got 20 more minutes, okay?
I'm looking.
Any other questions?
Anything else?
About anything?
Questions about anything at all? Anybody?
Why there's no comic shops in Alaska? Anything?
Oh, yeah. Chad took a trip to Alaska to look for comic book stores. There are no comic book stores in the state of Alaska.
Chad travels all over the world just looking at comics.
Looking for comic book stores.
Just for the comic trip.
Just for the comic trips.
And I stay at home.
You do mostly nothing. So. Cassidy, go ahead. You have the floor.
I'm going to go back to our booth and make sure that.
No questions?
No, we don't have any questions, anybody?
It's funny. We've been here for about 30 minutes now.
Yeah.
And our booth has been more crowded than it has been for the...
Yeah, we walked away and everyone flocked to our booth.
And the poor woman who's at the booth next to us has been taking care of us the entire time. Maybe she should stay there and we should not be at our booth anymore. The whole entire rest of the time.
Dad, I think we have a question.
You have a question?
Question. Yes, hi.
Hi, I'm Walter, and I have this on the channel. I felt like you guys know what it is.
Uh-huh.
You're trying to figure out ways to upgrade my show a little bit. So, like it'd be like intro back or maybe more segments. What would be your advice to aspiring?
What are you using to edit? So,
okay.
I use CapCuts, which is it's a paid thing, and they have tons and tons of editing software on there that really, if you're watching our videos, you'll see some of our transitions and stuff, and you'll see all the dialogue. They're the most used one. Are they the best one? Probably not.
No, everyone says Adobe is really the best way to go with it. Like if you want to use an Adobe program.
But I've got used to CapCuts.
You got used to CapCuts, yeah.
And it's on your phone, so it's really easy.
It has a lot more stuff on the computer. So CapCuts on a computer has a lot more features than on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just lazy, so I do a lot of my stuff when I'm laying in bed or when I'm sitting watching TV. So if you download, and there's a bunch of other ones, there's a bunch of free ones. And if you download something like that, it will expand your ability to. And just when we're done, just come over to our booth, write down. We'd love to check out your channel. Our booth is right there in the corner.
Yeah, we're right there.
The crowded one where.
Yeah. So also, as far as video effects go, I would say short and sweet is always better. Like, don't try to do anything too fancy, I guess, because it tends to be more distracting, I think, than anything else. Like,
says the guy who has never edited.
We'll put up things like that so that we'll add a little humor here and there, but try to keep it not constant. You know what I mean? Yeah, only to accentuate, not to sort of overpower.
How long have you had your channel for?
Oh yeah, cool. And how's
it going?
What do you focus on? You do comics, right? Oh, awesome. Cool. Yeah, well, you come to our booth then when we're done here. We'll definitely have a talk about some stuff.
So you have the
That's cool.
same problem we have. You're spread out. You're like us. We don't.
Yeah.
You focus on one thing. YouTube likes you more than if you do a whole bunch of different things.
Mm-hmm.
We don't agree with that, but that's how YouTube works.
Yeah. Well, I always bring up as an example of what YouTube likes. There's a YouTuber who does comics his channel is called Salazar. He calls himself Salazar Knight. Have you ever heard of him? Salazar Knight. He only does Batman comics
For 10 years.
No movies, no shows, just Batman comics. And he's been doing his channel for 10 years. And the algorithm loves him because of that. So if you put comic books into the search engine, he'll be like among the first 5. Yeah. So like super focused things usually do well. But if that's not what you want to do, then by all means, don't do it. Do what you want to do.
Do what you love.
Because the last thing you want to do is be unhappy while doing this. This is supposed to be fun. Yeah. Yeah. Like comic books.
That's it.
And all this stuff is all supposed to be a good time, right? It shouldn't be miserable. So that's how we're looking at it.
And think to yourself, why do I want to do this? What do I want out of this? And the 3 of us question it all the time. What do we actually want out of this channel? What are we looking to do?
And I think we would answer that in a different way.
We would.
Like for me, this is primarily a writing outlet. That's what I enjoy doing. I like writing. So for me, it's a writing outlet. I like to put things together. I like to research. I like to do all that stuff.
I want to retire tomorrow. I want to make some YouTube. My wife keeps telling me no. It's true. And if any of you want to try to convince her even more, she's sitting in the front row over here recording us. Really like to retire tomorrow on my YouTube money. So, Cassidy, what do you want to?
I was just looking at our booth because there's people.
I know we're getting so many people at our booth all of a sudden.
I think the people next to us are.
Yeah, they seem like jumped in. Yeah,
we have a booth over there too. If you didn't see us,
I would just say that I'm here. He pays for my comic books for the.
Cassidy has never paid to go into a convention or buy comics at a convention. So.
But I do really enjoy talking about Star Wars when we do our convention hauls. I really enjoy shouting out the smaller creators, so people who aren't making comic books. I really enjoy buying items. I mean, at this convention, I bought from a booth a hand-carved Scooby-Doo sign from one of the places selling wood signs. So, but I also I do it to support I'm his daughter, by the way, in the YouTube channel.
Didn't pick that
up. So, I really just do it to support him. So if he'd ask, do I do everything he asks me to do? No, I don't. But
neither do I.
I try and do my best to.
Oh, neither do you for sure. Neither one of you listens to me. One of us is the driving force behind this channel, and the other 2
He's
are
in the
just
center,
riding my coattails, basically.
Yeah, sure. I have no problem being a McMahon. I like that.
So to start, I mean, if you're doing the YouTube yourself, be prepared because you're going to be recording the videos, you're going to be editing the videos. So it does take a lot of work into it, a lot of hours to really get started. Because
how would you know that?
No,
I watch you do it.
So we put out 3 videos a week now?
We do. He's on the channel. So to break down what we do, we put 2 long videos, 1 live and a week, and 3 shorts every day.
Every day, right. And it takes a lot of work.
So
it's a lot of writing, it's a lot of research.
Shorts. And I'll explain.
Shorts are easier than you think. And sometimes they end up being the thing that gets the most views.
Yeah.
Because
for the quickest way to get views and subscribers is through the shorts platform right now.
And shorts are a minute or under.
Shorts.
Because people also have way short attention spans. Like I feel like that.
And that's a good point because it leads into that thing. You want to be across social media, so you really can't post your long format videos on, say, TikTok
or Instagram.
Instagram,
right?
Your shorts can go on they go everywhere.
Yeah, and shorts are an excellent way to reach out, and they're under a minute. And actually, that's faster than you think.
They could be 3 minutes.
To fill a minute. It's hard to write a short because you have to compress a lot of information into a short space. But once you get the hang of it, and really like everything else, it's just practice. Once you get that practice down and you know how to write for that short time period, or figure out your research for that short time period, you can then just start doing them. And it's the best way to get attention. And there are two really very different audiences on YouTube. Like ever since they introduced shorts has its own audience and longs have its own audience, and they're two different groups. For instance, I prefer longer videos, and I don't really watch a lot of shorts.
I don't agree with that statement, sir.
You don't think it's two different?
I do not.
Really? Why?
Because I believe that if you are a fan of a certain kind of thing, like comic books or action figures, that you're going to watch shorts and longs of those particular.
Maybe it's me in particular, because I prefer longer videos. I do. I feel like I get more out of them, but a lot of people love shorts, and actually shorts are really, as far as creative, the planning and the writing side is really a challenge. Because like if I want to do something about, I don't know, pick it random as Action Comics #1. Okay. Right? If I want to do a short on Action Comics #1, there's so many things you can say about just that one issue that came out in 1938 that you could talk about. Getting that down to a minute, it's difficult. But is it actually the way, if you look at it as a sort of fun intellectual challenge, then it is a better process. Yeah, that's really the best way to go about it. Especially in comics.
Listen, if you want views and subscribers, be negative, because that's what everybody loves on YouTube. They love controversy. They love fights.
Yeah.
That's not us, and hopefully that's not most people. Just make it a better place, make YouTube better, and build a community. That's what we're doing. We have friends here that we talk to all the time now, and it's come just from the channel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a nice experience. The best part of it has been meeting people.
Yeah. And that's some of the value for us is not views or money or, that kind of stuff. It's meeting people and being able to talk to them about like the same things you like.
A growing connection to this larger community that we've kind of been in all our lives.
Because when we first started, before we had the channel, Brian and I worked together in our real lives. We're both teachers. So we work in the same school, and we would sit and talk about comic books and talk about really bad horror movies and talk about collectibles. And everyone else would seem to disappear when we started doing it. It was just two of us talking, and it'd be like, wow, what, no one else really knows what we know, and no one does. And now we have a channel, and we meet people all the time, comments and emails that like what we like. And it's really cool to have a bunch of people, almost 4,000 now, that like what we like.
Yeah, no, and it's always fun to be at a con and be like, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but I really like this. And then that person goes, oh, no, yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. And I'm like, really? That's great. Like bring up some obscure, Italian horror film. Oh, yeah, no, I've seen it. Oh, that's crazy.
I mean, and what really helps is just as you just said, talking to people, because through meeting other people at other conventions, that's how we got here to getting invited to this convention. We got invited to do press at another convention. So people will start to reach out to you if they know you. So just kind of making those connections and becoming friends. There are booths here that we love and we see everywhere, and then they invite us to their convention, and we get in for free and we do press for them. So it's benefiting both parties, because we're doing press for them and then we get into the event free. So it's definitely building a community, and just, even though sometimes it can take a lot of energy out, it's talking to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's really the toughest part.
And one of the strangest parts, and we could end on this, is one of the strangest parts and one of the best parts is when you're at a convention like this, or we're at a comic shop and someone recognizes us, and it happens more often than we've ever thought it would. It's so odd for us. Like we were at a convention recently, and the three of us were in the boxes digging, and a guy looks up just because we were talking and goes, "Hold on, Cassidy," and he knew who she was by her voice, and it was so.
I collect Star Wars comics too, and one day my mom comes home from the comic shop that we regularly go to, and she said, "Someone left these at the comic store for you. They were Star Wars comics. Someone came up to the booth yesterday and gave me Star." So if you also have a niche and people really like you, they'll also just give you free stuff.
It's a lot of fun meeting people that like what you like,
and more often than not, people want to like what they want. They're not, most people aren't setting out to look for something they're going to hate.
Right.
They're going to try and find the good in everything. So it's great to meet people who are looking for that.
And this is what our channel's like. We go back and forth. We don't take this seriously. We have fun with what we're doing.
Right.
One of us is professional, the other two are not. And see? Oh my God, look at that. That's how this works.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I don't think I have this one either.
And that's another booth. We've become friends with him because
Yeah.
we see him at a bunch of shows and we always chat with him and we show his booth out on we try to show booths of people that we know on our things that we show his booth in.
Yeah. And I think that if we had to say that one of our operating ideas is the rising tide lifts all boats. You know, if we all work together, everyone's going to benefit. It's not a zero-sum game. We don't have to compete with each other. We should be collaborating. And it's so easy to do at this point. Everybody could do it. Especially if we could do it.
That's a good way to close.
It is.
Yeah. No other questions?
Anybody?
Thank you, guys.
Hey, guys, thanks for
Thank
sitting
you.
with
We
us.
really
I appreciate it.
We
Thank
have a
you.
free comic book from us over there.
Yeah, we're giving away free comics. Come on over and grab one.
I'm talking. Thank you. Thank you. So that was it. That was our first panel ever at Super Jersey Comic Expo. We think it went pretty well. We're very pleased at the people who were there, the questions that were asked. We had a great time with our panel. If you would like us to be at a panel at your local convention, let them know who we are. Tell them to email us. We are more than welcome to come for a panel, for a table, just to come and walk around as press.
If you want us to interview big celebrities, we can do that.
If you are a big celebrity, you just
Reach out to us.
Reach out to us. We're here. Anything else?
No, that's really it.
Love what you collect.
Collect what you love.
We'll see you next time.